Hi, this is Eric Metcalf, and you're watching the Unhappy Hour.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello everybody and welcome to the Unhappy Hour. My name is Brian Engelman. I am your host, as I have been for the past 7 years. We just celebrated the New American Media's 7th birthday on May Day a couple of days ago. Thanks for being a part of the journey with us. YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Click subscribe. Leave comments on our previous shows. Lots of different stuff. We have music, we have politics, we have sports. We get into a little bit of everything. We just like to talk about what's happening in the world. So join us. Patreon.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. If you like what we're doing, you can contribute. We appreciate that. Twitter, we're at American_media_. On Facebook, there's a private sports group called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group. It's a private group, so we need to know if you're an Indians, Cavs, Browns, or Buckeye fan, we'll let you in. Maybe even the Blue Jackets, who knows? Or if you're a Cleveland Rockers fan. Anyhow, let's get into the show. LeBron James proving once again that he is the greatest of all time. This isn't disputed. This isn't up for conversation or debate. LeBron James has actually been the best player on the planet for about 8-9 years now. Maybe 10 years. He's been in the league for 15 years. By the way, this is the first time he's played all 82 games in the regular season. 15th year in the league. Okay? Tonight, LeBron James went full beast mode, full GOAT mode. Thank you, Mike. By the way, and anybody in here, this is the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group in our private Facebook group. If you're in this camera, type your comments below. I will try to engage with the conversation as I see it. Mike Lococo, what's up, buddy? Saying, I don't know how you can argue this anymore. I don't know how anybody can possibly say anybody else has been a better all-around basketball player in the history of the game than LeBron James. This isn't, he's just had a couple of years, like, let's switch sports. Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was unstoppable for a couple of years. He had a hip injury. You know, there's a lot of players that have had, 3, 4, 5, 6 strong years, and they were unable to maintain that pace. If someone has had a 5-year career and then cut short with injuries, LeBron has done that 3 different times. 15 years. It's undisputable. Indisputable. Undisputable. Me fail English? That's impossible. Sometimes I start saying words and I don't even know if they're the right words or not. But anyhow, I digress. LeBron James with about 8 seconds left took the ball out, took it all the way across half court. 3 seconds left, dribbled down to the side, jumped off of his right, I believe it was his right foot, tossed up an off-balance, fadeaway, one-handed shot off the glass. Boom. Nothing but net. It's like that McDonald's commercial with Michael Jordan, by the way. Nothing but net. Off the glass. Nothing but net. He called bank. That was his shot. That's what he was going for. I was watching this game with a buddy of mine, and, we saw it again, kind of like what we saw in Game 2. To a different degree than what we saw in Game 2. But the fadeaways, the turnarounds, the step backs. My friend goes, when did LeBron James develop the Michael Jordan fadeaway shot? The Michael Jordan step back shot? I said, I don't know, man. He must have been holding on to this for some reason because you can't stop it. He's 6'8". He's all muscle. He's in the best shape of his life. His basketball brain surpasses most people in the game. I've loved this from year one watching LeBron James. People would talk with him at halftime with their reports. They'd talk with him after the game. And he'd talk about how he had 13 rebounds and, closing out with about 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter when so-and-so did this. And he has this savant-like ability to remember what was happening in the games, to remember all the stats, to remember the situational awareness of all of the circumstances. That cannot help. That cannot be understated. And it can't do anything but help the other players on the team. When somebody is essentially a player coach on the floor, it makes the other players around him better. LeBron James with another buzzer beater to end this thing, giving the Cavs a 3-0 commanding series lead over the Toronto Raptors. you know, there are some people that are starting to feel sorry for the Raptors, and all I have to do is remind you, let's go back. Let's go back to the 80s, 90s. Let's go back to Craig Elo, Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, Larry Nance, Hot Rod Williams. Let's go back to those teams, coached by Lenny Wilkins, that were fantastic. And what happened? It was kind of like the John Elway effect. I know I bounce around sports metaphors, but deal with it. The Cavaliers would always run into Michael Jordan, and you just lost to a better player. The Cleveland Browns kept running into John Elway. He had their number. Sometimes it comes down to matchups. Sometimes it's a one-on-one thing. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes it's cosmic intervention. By the way, I do have this theory. I know I've talked about it for years. Not sure if you're aware, but I was back in Cleveland in 2016 for the Republican National Convention. And I was also back in 2016 for the Cleveland Cavaliers Championship Parade. I have a theory that a wormhole opened up in Cleveland in 2016. I think we've entered a parallel dimension where peace with North Korea and South Korea is possible, where LeBron James has won a title against the 73-win Golden State Warriors, and Donald Trump is our president. I think we've entered a bizarro world, a parallel dimension, because I think the universe wanted the 73-win Warriors to win that championship. I think the universe wanted Hillary Clinton to win the presidency. I think the universe wanted LeBron James to still, this would be his 4th year in Cleveland, trying desperately to win his elusive championship for the city of Cleveland. The pressure is mounting. How will this affect his legacy? Would he dare leave and go play for somebody else until he's brought a championship to the city that he spurned to go take his 4 best years down to take his talents to South Beach? I think the parallel dimension that we avoided somehow when a wormhole cracked open at the Quicken Loans Arena, which is where the convention was and where, you know, the Cavaliers were playing in the championships. I think we're in a parallel universe, and I love it. Just imagine if LeBron hadn't won that championship in 2016. Imagine what the conversation would be like today. Just try to think about that. Look, the Cavs won on a last-second walk-off shot, 105-103 today against the Toronto Raptors, taking a commanding 3-0 series lead. Do you know how much pressure would be on LeBron James and the Cavaliers and how much frustration the fans would be feeling if we didn't have that championship in the bag from 2016? Now, don't get me wrong. I think in 2015 we were supposed to win that championship until Kevin Love got Olinicked, and when Kyrie went Kyrie and broke down. Look, Kyrie plays that Dwayne Wade style of herky-jerky, jumpy, running, banging, falling basketball. It's sweet, but it's not durable. It's not going to give you a 15-year career in the NBA. It's great to watch in small doses. But I still think we win that championship against the Golden State Warriors if we didn't have those injuries. Hell, we almost did. We took it to 6 somehow. So, Mike, off to work. Thank you. I will try to have a good show. Appreciate you jumping in here. Mike saying you can argue championships, but by that reasoning, there are a few Celtics who are better than both of them. Of course. Of course. You can say Robert Horry is the best basketball player of all time based on championships. It's not about championships. It's about, have you ever seen a basketball player with a better all-around skill set than LeBron James? The answer is no. It's just not debatable at this point. It really hasn't been debatable for a couple of years, but you had a couple anomalies. You can say, Jordan was 6-0 in the finals. Okay. And he lost in the first round a couple of times. I don't think Michael Jordan could have put the entire team on his back the way LeBron did in 2007 to get past the Detroit Pistons. I just don't think it's possible. They were different players. They had different skill sets. I don't think he would have been able to dominate the way LeBron dominated, though. So, if we want to talk GOAT, the greatest of all time, you can talk. I made up my mind about 7-8 years ago. LeBron James has been the best player in the NBA, and you guys have been given, the sports writers and the people that vote on the MVPs, you guys have been given random people, Steve Nash and Kobe and I mean, go down the. Actually, I want to take a look here. NBA MVPs. All right, let's just go back through here. I've been saying what? 7 years? Let's go 10 years. Let's go 10 years back to the 2006. Now I'll even go further. LeBron James came into the league in 2003. So let's go 01-02. Tim Duncan. 02-03 Duncan. 04 Garnett. 5 and 6 Steve Nash. 7 Nowitzki. 8 Kobe Bryant. You guys did all of that before you finally recognized that LeBron James was head and shoulders the best player in the NBA. Now, maybe those are lifetime achievement awards for Duncan. No, Duncan was young at the time, but maybe for Garnett, for Nash, Nowitzki, Bryant. I don't know what to tell you. Because LeBron James was the best, most valuable player for a lot of these seasons. He won 2 MVPs with Cleveland in 09 and 10, before he rolled out into Miami. And he won 2 more there. Duncan, Garnett, Nash, Nowitzki, Bryant, James, Rose, James, Durant, Curry, Westbrook. I don't even know what to tell you at this point. What's up, Greg? What's up, Mike? If you guys have any questions, type them below. Any comments? LeBron James got help again. Kevin Love shooting 50%. Plus 20 when Kevin Love was on the court, by the way. That's the highest plus-minus of anybody in there. When the Cavs went to their bench, it got dicey. I think it's a little interesting that Larry Nance is not getting any minutes, but, hey, we won, so I can't debate it. I can't second-guess it. Why would I? But Rodney Hood was a -8 on the floor. Clarkson a -11. Tristan Thompson -9. And Jeff Green was only +3, and he got blocked a couple times. Kevin Love was the difference maker again. 20 points. He was a +20 when he was on the floor. Scored 21 overall. 16 rebounds. 2 assists, a steal, a block. MVP is now a stat-based category. MVP is kind of a stat-based category, Greg. Isn't it interesting? Russell Westbrook got the MVP, and then all of a sudden LeBron started going for triple-doubles. Now, maybe that was because LeBron's basketball brain knows that if you're just going to count hardware, he needs to get a few more MVPs. He needs to get a few more NBA Finals MVPs. He needs to get a few more stats, I guess. But LeBron went for how many triple-doubles this year compared to the rest of his career? Maybe he knew about it. Maybe he was thinking about the triple-double. But also Kyrie was gone, and you're kind of going with what you got. And in that case, of course, you need to step your own game up. And, of course, LeBron James did, having perhaps his best season ever. LeBron, 9 for 11 on the free throw line. Greg saying Westbrook leads the league in uncontested rebounds. Who was it? Oh, I can see him. I want to say Anthony Davis. His last name? Ricky Davis. Ricky Davis took a shot on the wrong basket so that he could try to collect a rebound to get was it a double-double or a triple-double? Famous Cavs history. Wrong way, Ricky. Oh, that's pretty great. George Hill put in 12 points tonight. Kyle Korver, 4 for 6 from the three-point line. 6 of 8 overall for 18 points. J.R. Smith, man, that was a quiet 26. He played 26 minutes, didn't score a point. Took 1 3-pointer, 2 shots overall. It was Jeff Green that put in 11. Yeah, triple-double. Thank you. I thought so, Greg. Can the Cavs win an NBA championship with this roster? Yes. We're one of how many teams remaining? One of 8 teams standing. And we're 3-0. So it looks good. It's a strong chance. Funny, Greg. it's a strong chance that we can compete for an NBA championship. Do we have the firepower to outlast the Warriors or the Rockets? You know, obviously we got to get through Toronto, God willing, and then we got to get through Boston, God willing, of course. You know, the one thing about today's game, I want to get to today's game in a second. I want to acknowledge what Greg said. I was talking about J.R. Smith with 2 shots overall, only 1 3-pointer, 0 points. Greg says those are Ben Simmons numbers. By the way, if you didn't catch that game between the 76ers and the Celtics, you missed out. That was interesting. You know, people have been saying it now for a couple of games, but coaching is really coming into play. You know, if we got to hear any more jockstrap sniffing about Brad Stevens, obviously I'm calling LeBron James the greatest of all time, and I'm bashing someone else for jockstrap sniffing. But look, if you're in the presence of greatness, at some point you just have to acknowledge what it is. Would I be doing these shows right now if he played for Miami? No. It'd be too painful. It would hurt. I wouldn't want to. But being a Cleveland fan, it's rare that you get the best player in the history of the sport to be on your team. So I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the unhappy hour. I always have. The Facebook groups are fantastic. And invite your friends. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group. It's on Facebook. Private group. Ask you a couple questions. Jump in. But it's nice. It's glorious being at the center of the sports world. The Cleveland Browns with the #1 overall pick, turning the franchise around, making some great free agent acquisitions like Jarvis Landry, Carlos Hyde, getting Baker Mayfield and Denzel Ward in the draft, drafting offensive line to replace Joe Thomas. I mean, like, the team is looking really good. And Antonio Callaway might be the steal of the draft at wide receiver to go along with Josh Gordon, who's going to be around for a whole season. And Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. Like, this team is looking good. And then the Indians. The Indians were, you know, 1 run away from winning a World Series in 2016 as well. So I think in that parallel universe theory that I had, by the way, Hillary's president, the Indians win the World Series, and LeBron James fails to bring Cleveland a championship. But we're in a different timeline right now. I'm going all Doctor Who with the timey-wimey stuff. But it's interesting to think about. Yeah, but Greg was saying those are Ben Simmons numbers. Yeah, Ben Simmons, the 76ers coaching staff did not really put him in a great position to succeed a couple of days ago. And then, you know, just some poor play calling, some poor execution, some sloppiness, some mental errors. You know, some of that you can attribute to a young team, and the other part you have to attribute to the lack of coaching. Lack of training, lack of experience, lack of being battle-tested, lack of preparation. I think this is 2 games in a row now that the coaching staff of the Philadelphia 76ers is coming under heavy fire. They had it. They had 2 of them. And they let the Celtics come back and get it. You know, this is a Celtics team without Kyrie Irving. Without Kyrie Irving, a Celtics team without Gordon Hayward. And they're still doing it. So maybe it will be a rematch. You know, the #1, #2 teams last year, the Celtics and the Cavaliers. And maybe it will be again this year, Celtics, Cavaliers. Would you be that surprised to see that happen? No. You'll be kind of surprised that without Kyrie and without Hayward, they're able to do it. But who else in the East is really posing a challenge? That's the question. What's up, Joe? Leave your comments below. I'm going to try to get to all your comments as I can. The 76ers, the Toronto Raptors. Who's in the East? The Pacers? Pacers played us tough. Got it. That was a scary series. Without LeBron. Whew. Ugh. But luckily we got him. To all these people that think LeBron James is going to go play for the 76ers or go play for the Lakers or go play for the Rockets, come on. Come on. The king's in his kingdom. The king's in his castle. The king is doing what he does. All right, what's up, Brian? Welcome to the show. What's up, Joe? Welcome to the show. What's up, Brian? Brian saying hello from Pittsburgh. Paint. Cleveland. Ugh, I'm at work. Oh, I think we get murdered in the West. Yeah, well, you know what? What do they say? If my aunt had a penis, she'd be my uncle. Well, maybe, but doesn't matter because it's not a thing. I get your point though, and that's the point I'm making. Why would LeBron go play for the Lakers? Why would LeBron go have to play the Warriors before he has to get to that best of 7 and try to take a couple of the close ones, win a championship again? He's in a good spot. And by the way, the Cleveland Cavaliers have the number 8 overall pick. Could go top 3. Who knows? We could jump up into the top 10. Or I'm sorry, into the top 3. And we'll probably end up trading it for Kawhi Leonard or somebody. I know. UFC is MMA. Corey's going to bust my chops over that. But look, Kawhi doesn't want to be there anymore. Maybe it's Boogie Cousins. I'm not even saying these are great options. I'm just saying I think the Cavs are in win-now mode. We got to replace Kyrie Irving. We had to suffer through this horrible season with Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Dwayne Wade, and Derrick Rose, and Iman Shumpert, all bounced out of Cleveland. Maybe the biggest thing that we're getting out of that whole trade for Kyrie Irving is that number 8 pick. And so, you see the growing pains with the 76ers. Most players will have significant growing pains when they're playing in the NBA, and I don't think LeBron has time for that. He didn't have time for Andrew Wiggins, and no, we couldn't have got Andrew Wiggins and just signed Kevin Love in free agency. There was a mathematical formula that would not have made sense because we were already over the cap. We couldn't have gotten Kevin Love without giving away Andrew Wiggins. Just put that to bed. I've had that conversation with Zach Barris multiple times. And by the way, we could have had Andrew Wiggins, and man, we'd still be winning titles now. Stop it. We don't win that title without Kevin Love. I'll take him on the team. He's the Robin to LeBron's Batman, and he's doing a good job. He's doing a good job. He's had a couple injuries this year. It's been a tough year, obviously with the mental health stuff, with his panic attacks. I mean, come on, tell me you haven't had to take a few deep breaths from time to time over the past year of your life. Of course, we all do. So it's good that Kevin was brought that to the forefront. Doesn't make him soft. It actually makes him strong. So here's what I see happening. I see somehow somebody in the offseason trading the Cavaliers for that number 8 pick. Now, I don't know. Maybe that's going to depend on whether LeBron re-signs or not. We'll see how it goes. I don't see LeBron leaving. And if somebody can help me, I did see the story. I did see the interview where LeBron said, I don't have it in me to move again. And I believed that. Now, I've seen the other stories that him and his wife were out in Los Angeles and they were touring a school. You see all these rumors and different pieces of things. But in my heart of hearts, I don't see LeBron leaving. If he did, it would be crushing. It would suck. But at this point, he brought me a championship. What am I going to do? I'm forever going to be grateful, and I'll just always remember these amazing times watching the best basketball player of all time. I really don't want to see him in another jersey's colors, though. I really don't want to see that. Greg Moore in the chat room in the Facebook group for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a support group, saying, what was it? Talking about Ben Simmons there? Not the MVP. Sixers were the confetti supervisor. Yeah, the Philadelphia 76ers. Marco Bellinelli hits a shot to close out regulation against the Celtics. It was close to the three-point line down in the corner. It was close. It wasn't that close. And the 76ers went ahead and dropped all the confetti like they just won the game on a three-pointer. That's not going to age well. In a social media age, I haven't even had time to check out the memes, but please, guys, give me the best memes in the Unhappy Hour Facebook group, please. I want to see the 76ers confetti memes. They got to be brutal and awesome. Brawsome. Yeah, they dropped the confetti a little too deep, a little too quick. Hello, Joe. Hello, Brian. All right, let's see. Brian is saying in the chat room. Leave your comments in the chat room, by the way. And I'm going to figure out YouTube Live at some point. I know it used to be a really clunky service where you had to download some encoder, and then you had to add script to something, and then you had to have a special program to go live. That's why I've been going live on Facebook. But I got nothing against YouTube. YouTube is the only place monetizing us at this point. Facebook, we've given you thousands of hours of awesome content in the Unhappy Hour, haven't received a dime from you because we are the product and we're being sold to the advertisers. You actually limit on Facebook. You limit my ability to talk to my people, the people in the group. You limit my ability and then ask me, hey, for just $30, I'll let people in your own group see your own stuff. I'm sorry, that is not a business model I'm happy with. It's user-friendly. And it's fun. It's a fun community, but seriously, Facebook, get your act together. Cut us in on the profit sharing, because we're gonna move over to some platform that will. We're the ones creating the content. You're just showing it. Anyhow, so in this group, we got some comments here. Leave your comments in the Unhappy Hour Sports Show, a private or a support group. Brian is saying he'd really have to battle every playoff game. Stay in the East, you'll make the chip every year. How many years now are we on with LeBron James making the championship every year? This is year 4? 3? 4 with the Cavs, 4 with the Heat. I guess 8. And obviously, let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. We got a very good, very well coached, young, athletic, energetic Celtics team we would have to get through. And that's only if we can get through the Raptors. Obviously, I'm not sweating it, but I also wasn't sweating being up 3-1 against the Cubs with the Indians either. So, 2 in the hand is worth 1 in the bush. 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. That's what I'm at. You know what? That just sounds weird. I'm going to stop using that phrase altogether. I digress. But yeah, LeBron would have a very good chance to make the championship every year. However, then people would say, well, then go to the 76ers. You got Joel Embiid, you got Fultz, you got Ben Simmons. It would be easier than just LeBron and a bunch of tomato cans. People just want to diss Kevin Love, but Kevin Love brought LeBron James a championship for Cleveland. So I digress. All right, Joe was saying, how do I pronounce your last name? Can you spell it phonetically? Sunlen. Joe Sunlen. Correct me if I'm saying that incorrectly, Joe. Joe saying it's gotten surprisingly easy over the past week. Would never have guessed we'd be up 3-0. Really? So you thought this was going to be pretty difficult. Boston is a challenge, but I don't see it being that challenging. Toronto should have presented a much more formidable challenge. There you go. I had to click the thing to see the rest of the... Should Toronto have presented a much more formidable challenge or not? You seem to think so, and I understand. I understand what you're saying, that Toronto should have been more of a challenge than they are. And let's face it, these last, 2 of these 3 games have been pretty darn close. But what in their history would tell you that the Toronto Raptors were up to the challenge of taking on King James and the Cavaliers? Nothing. We've owned Toronto. LeBronto is what they're calling it, which is kind of funny, kind of awesome. Savage. Sunlen. Thank you, Joe. Sunlen. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. And if you want to... Look, the one thing we learned with LeBron James in 2007 and then the couple years right before he left. LeBron's winning MVPs, back-to-back best record in the NBA. What happened? We got bounced. We couldn't win a championship, right? Regular season does not count. 73-win Warriors did not count. That's not the best team in the history of the NBA. You know why? Because you didn't even win the championship. You're not even the best team in your season, even though you run one more regular season games. It's like the Cleveland Browns being the preseason football champs last year. We're 4-0. No, you went winless and had a parade because of it. By the way, I promise you guys, I'm going to finish putting together the documentary. I followed parade organizer Chris McNeil around with him and his family on their party bus and walking in the damn near sub-zero temperatures. What I liked about it, it was 0 degrees with a -16 wind chill, making 0-16 on the day that we had the Cleveland Browns parade for 0-16. That was pretty funny. I think that was maybe an hour or 2 before the actual parade started, but knowing that those numbers clicked, priceless. So I promise you, I'm gonna finish putting together that documentary for that Browns perfect season parade. I think you're gonna enjoy it. I think it was interesting. I think it was fun. I think it was Very Brownsy, very Clevelandy. Why did I bring that up? I digress. But I'm going to get it to you. And there's the Cleveland sports community is a tight-knit bunch. The Cleveland sports community has been through a lot. You go 4-0 in the preseason, that doesn't mean anything. That's how I got there. So I don't care if the Toronto Raptors had the best record. I don't care if the Cavs were the 4 or 5 seed. I don't care. Because when it counts, you get playoff LeBron. You get 0 dark 30. That is dangerous LeBron, and I'll take it all the time. Oh, yeah, Brian. Brian is saying he missed it, that they threw confetti. Yes, the 76ers, I don't know if they thought they could cover up reality. Have you ever been around, I don't know, usually it might be public transportation or, I don't know, somebody at work, but they have body odor, and for some reason they think that if they put cologne or perfume on, it's going to mask it. I don't know if that's what Philadelphia was trying to do by dropping confetti all over the court, thinking, well, we didn't win, but let's pretend like we won, and then maybe they'll think that we won. There's a phrase out here in Los Angeles, up in Hollywood, fake it until you make it. Sorry, Philly. You didn't drop the confetti fast enough to cover up the fact that Bellinelli did not have both feet outside of the three-point line. It really wasn't even close. So yeah, itchy trigger finger. It was an epic fail, Brian. Hello to Justin watching. Hello to Timothy watching. Millions. Oh, Mike Lococo's back on. Sunland, got it. How do I think DeRozan and Lowry would do elsewhere? All right. DeRozan and Lowry. I would take them on the Cavaliers. They're good players. I think if they had a mentor, maybe it's not so far off to think about the Cleveland Cavaliers prior to LeBron leaving and going to Miami. Very good player. Now, obviously, it's different. When LeBron was playing for the Cavs, he was clearly the best player in the NBA. And he was already the best, most all-around, talented basketball player the game of basketball has ever seen. He's only now starting to really get his accolades as the numbers are starting to stack up and they become undeniable. But he was that a long time ago. However, he could not get past the Celtics. He could not, Orlando knocked us out. He didn't know how to win. And what I really liked about LeBron's letter when he wrote the Sports Illustrated, he did the Sports Illustrated interview, he referred to going to Miami in a similar way as if a young man, a young adult, a boy entering adulthood would go off to college for 4 years. Dwayne Wade learned how to win a championship with Shaquille O'Neal. Now you could say LeBron had Shaquille O'Neal his final year, it still didn't help, but yeah, Glenn Baby Davis, like the Celtics always do, the dirty, rotten scoundrels that they are, from Kelly Olynyk to Glenn Big Baby Davis, injured Shaquille O'Neal on a non-basketball play, just like Kelly Olynyk did to Kevin Love, ripping his arm out of his socket. So we didn't get primetime Shaquille O'Neal. I still think we win the NBA championship if Shaquille O'Neal doesn't have that injury. Just like I still think we win in 2015 with Dellavedova, with Kyrie Irving, with Kevin Love. So maybe DeRozan and Lowry need to go to a proven champion. Maybe they need to go somewhere where they can learn how to play championship basketball and get it done. Or maybe they're just cursed to be playing in the wrong city for the wrong team in the era of LeBron James. Lord knows the Cleveland Cavaliers were cursed with that during the Michael Jordan years with Chicago. All right, so Joe Sunland asking how would DeRozan and Lowry do elsewhere? They're very good players. They definitely shrunk in Game 2. I saw a few more big-time shots being hit here in Game 3. I don't think they're necessarily fatally flawed. But at some point, would it be time to make a move? I mean, would the Raptors trade one of those guys to Cleveland for the number 8 pick? I don't know. I'm not saying it's likely or possible. I'm trying to think with every single team who wants that number 8 pick. This is a very deep draft, thank God. Because as bad as the Brooklyn Nets were, they went out and traded for a few people. And they were competitive in way too many games. And there were several teams ahead of them in the draft class, meaning worse than them, who were legitimately intentionally tanking. Even Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks were busted for saying that, they're trying to intentionally lose games. They're trying to tank games. I forget the exact quote, but, I remember there was some backlash about that. And it's like, well, yeah, if you suck, you should suck. Don't be the Atlanta Hawks of 2010 or whatever year that was for that 4, 5, 6 year run. You're good enough to make the playoffs, 8 seed, 7 seed, 6 seed. And even for a couple minutes there, they were the number 1, number 2, number 3. They were good enough to be competitive, but they weren't competitive enough to be good. And you're stuck in that limbo. And professional sports in 2018, maybe like always. If you don't have a chance to win the championship, you better suck. Just empty the cup. Do what the Browns did. Go through 2 horrible years, empty out all the roster, empty out the overpriced contracts, and rebuild. That's what you have to do. And at what point are the Toronto Raptors going to throw in the towel here? Serge Ibaka, I like the story where he's actually a few years older than he claims to be. That's a good one. That's an all-time great story. We got to dig into that a little bit more. But, Valanciunas is a solid player. Is he like Zydrunas Ilgauskas? I don't know. He's good. He can dominate underneath. He doesn't every game, but he does okay. Wrong country. Which country am I talking about? Sorry, responding to Greg over here in the chat room. Look, at some point, I think the Raptors are going to have to blow that team up. I think they're going to have to trade away some of those players. Is it this offseason? Do the Cavs even jump in on that? If you can't beat them, join them, right? I don't know. I'm just looking at that number 8 pick, and I know, like Corey was saying, UFC is MMA, one of our regular commenters for the past pretty much 7 years on our YouTube channel. Saying you are so lucky to have the number 8 pick in a enormously deep draft. There's a lot of talent in the first round. Some years, Anthony Bennett goes number 1. Other years, people take Sam Bowie ahead of Michael Jordan. Who knew? Greg Moore in the chat room saying they're going to the Lakers with LeBron, Paul George anyway. Okay, so you think DeRozan and Lowry are going with LeBron and Paul George to the Lakers? The Lakers. Oh, okay. Greg is clearing it up. I said that DeRozan and Lowry were in the wrong city, playing for the wrong team, wrong conference, whatever. Greg responded saying, they're in the wrong country. Oh, by the way, we're on Instagram, instagram.com/TheUnhappyHour. I'm excited for reflog _18. That's golfer backwards. Chris McNeil, founder of the Perfect Season Parade. His Twitter account and his Instagram feed are just astonishingly hilarious and timely. He has these memes, and because the Cavaliers have played the Toronto Raptors the past couple seasons, he has these memes back and forth where there's sticks of bacon, and then the dash, and then a piece of Canadian ham. Canadian bacon, a piece of ham. Your bacon is ham. And so it'll be like dash, dash, dash with bacon, 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 dash Canadian ham. So it'll be 3 strips of bacon to Canadian ham now. I can't wait for those memes to come out and share those with you. Yes, okay, Greg, I get it. They're in the wrong country. Look, I just want to come in and talk with you right now because LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. I've known it, I was saying 7 years, 8 years, probably closer to 10 years. And obviously the Miami stuff hurt me deeply. And I did shows during those times about it. So you've seen me on that side of things. You've seen me on this side of things. You can go back and watch those. Bitter, sad, depressed, sorrowful, angry, betrayed, hurt, heartbroken. All of those emotions as a sports fan when LeBron bailed on us and the way he did it too. But all that really seems like a distant memory right now. And even if I wasn't a LeBron James fan when he played for a different team, because at the end of the day, look, I root for laundry. I cheer for laundry. I root for laundry. If you're wearing the... Baker Mayfield, was he the guy I would have picked #1 overall? I kind of ruled him out because of his childish attitude. But you know what? If John Dorsey and Hugh Jackson and the rest of the front office of the Cleveland Browns did their homework and they said, this is the guy that we think can lead us to a championship. Because that's what you're doing when you're drafting #1 overall. You're trying to reboot and reload, right? If Baker Mayfield is their pick, I'm all in on Baker Mayfield, and I'm going to look for all the positives and look at all the statistics that are going to back that up. You know why? Because I cheer for laundry. And if you wear my laundry, I'm going to cheer for you. And it feels so good. So good to have the greatest basketball player in the history of the game playing for Cleveland. After all the misery and the heartbreak we went through with Michael Jordan in the 90s. To get this karmic, cosmic retribution, to get this balancing. I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed to be doing a sports show in a time of LeBron. To be doing a Cleveland-centric, the only Cleveland-centric Los Angeles-based sports show that I'm currently aware of. That's a big deal. It means a lot to me. I think it's fantastic. It makes me happy. And LeBron James with yet another buzzer beater, another playoff buzzer beater. It's indisputable. There is no debate. LeBron James is the best basketball player you've ever seen. He is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Cavaliers with a hard-fought victory tonight take the commanding, I keep using commanding, I got to find some synonyms for commanding, the nearly insurmountable 3-0 lead over the Toronto Canadian Hams. Canadian Bacons. Kevin Bacon. It was fun. It was fun, too, because we were all out watching the game and had a chance to celebrate with a whole bunch of random strangers, just erupting in cheers. It's one thing to watch a game out when you're in Cleveland. You expect you expect everybody to be rooting for your team. But we're near Los Angeles and there's a buzzer beater and you hear people all over the place that you're at just screaming and cheering and clapping and yelling. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. And I'm just really happy I've been able to participate in this. And I want to thank all of you for participating in this show. Like I said, we have 7 years of content. We have a Patreon page, patreon.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. If you like what we're doing, you can maybe throw down a couple bucks a month. Just say, yeah, we like what you're up to. Because we really don't hit you up for anything. We're going to be coming out with merch. We're going to be doing a few more documentaries, a few more things coming out as soon as possible. And then a really big rollout is being planned right now. I'm not even going to talk about it because it's what I've always wanted. And if/when we can do this with the New American Media, I'm going to be beyond happy, thrilled, ecstatic, if you will. So I'll tell you about that as it gets closer. But this journey's been fantastic. LeBron James, you are the GOAT. I appreciate you, brother. Stick around Cleveland. Just play the rest of your career here. Just ride this out. You got a competitive team. You got an owner that's willing to spend. You have free reign over here. Just ride or die with us, man. Stick around. Let's bring that championship home this year. Really impressive. Go Cavs. I'll talk to you again soon.